Hey, painting and drawing people. This is Mr. Cabot, and we're going to talk about pixlr. We're going to talk about values, and we're going to talk about implied line, which you've already done. Got a lot on our plate today, and we're going to come up with a drawing at the end in which you create what looks a little bit like a sphere with a light source, so kind of a three-dimensional circle, a ball that has different values to show the different levels of light to dark. And that's really all that value means when you're talking about value as one of the elements of art, just how light or dark something is. So you're going to go to pixlr. Now, I'm assuming that you've already downloaded to your computer the image, the sphere image that I'm going to work with right here. So if you haven't done that, you should do that now. You can right-click on it and say download or save to your computer, actually to your Google Drive, but it'll be available on your Chromebook if that's what you're using. When you get to pixlr, though, you're going to go with the advanced pixlr E. Okay? Has a few more bells and whistles, a little more that we can use. And once you open up pixlr E, you're going to open image. You see that link right there? So you say open image. And because I have that image in my downloads, now if you're on a Chromebook, it's going to be under your images, I believe, or pictures, or whatever it says in that part of your Google Drive. So I'm going to click that and say open. So it's going to open this image of a sphere. Now, this image of a sphere has a very full range of values. It goes all the way from this very, very white highlight right there, all the way to pure black at the very back where there's no light. I don't want you to try to draw this. This is a great exercise. It's good for charcoal or pencils. But what I want to do is narrow this set of values down to a very limited number, bands of different values. Okay, so I'm going to go to the adjustment menu and choose this wonderful filter called posterize. Now, posterize comes from the word for poster, and one of the things that people would do to make posters look cool would be what we're going to do now, which is to take this range of values and narrow it down to just a few different bands of value. And here's what I mean. If we look at this and we go from 0 to 1, now we have one value besides white. And if you only have one value besides white, it's going to give you black. So here we have the darkest value, and then we have this gray. That's why we have a 2. I'm going to ask you guys to work not with 2, not with 3, but with 4. Okay, now you could go all the way to 30, and now we're back to this looking like a somewhat realistic sphere. We're going to go down to 4. Now, if you want to do another one of these and go up to like 10 or more, you be my guest, but this is a good project for today, just doing 4. And let's not make it too big either. I could use a plate. I could use a big coffee mug. It's about 3.5 inches. But I think you're going to find that that takes a while. So I would recommend using something like a little water glass like this, a little cup, a little kind of kitty cup. I'm going to use the water glass. This is about a 2 inch, I would say 2.5 inch area, diameter really. And this is what I'm going to use to make my outline, which is this entire sphere. So with that, I'm going to cut over to my other camera. Here we are, and I've got my little glass here, and I've got my half sheet of paper because that's really all that I need. And I'm going to put this right in the middle and do a light tracing around it. This is another implied line drawing, which means that I am going to erase my outlines later. And for now, all that I want to do is draw in very light pencil, at least until I'm starting with my actual values. So this circle looks like it has another circle. The highlight is about here. Okay. Maybe I'll draw this a little heavier so you can see it. You can always erase it later. And I'm gonna not try to go real perfect here. I am gonna erase these lines later. All right, so with 4, I've got 4 areas of dark. I'm gonna do the darkest one first, just to kind of set my limit here. And I'm gonna look at where this goes on the screen. It's gonna go across the moon. So it's about like that. Okay. And then on the inside, I have to create 3 bands. 1, 2 more bands inside here. So I'm just gonna mark these off so they're about even. And this one is gonna go around this inside sphere. That goes a little wide at the end, right? And this one is gonna go between. And that's roughly what I'm seeing on the screen. It's not perfect. And what is perfect? Not very much. I'm just gonna clean up these lines so I think it'll be better. So I'm just gonna see if this one goes all the way around. This is probably gonna go closer like this. Okay, and now I'm gonna fix this one a little bit. Till I feel like it's roughly there. Now I'm gonna start with my lines, with my values. This outside one is gonna be the darkest, and I might as well start with that one. And to do this, I'm gonna make one set of hatch marks, which is another word for these kind of hard dashed lines. But I am going to come back and put in another set, or maybe 2, of other hard dashed lines going in different directions. But first I just got to finish this one, going in this direction. Okay, going up to those lines, but not really crossing them. And then I'm going to go this direction. This is why this is called cross-hatching, because I am going across the direction of the lines that I did before. Now, I'm not just going to fill this in with black, right? Because we're doing this with lines. But I am going to make this darker, and to do that I'm going to go with a direction that I haven't gone yet, which is this other angle. And then for number 3, I'm going to use the single lines. And then for number 4, I'm just going to put in some dots, I think, to make a very light gray. Then I erase the lines. And that's pretty much my sphere. Take a picture, submit it to Schoology, and you're done.